Just an hour after resigning, the company group went crazy. The former boss gave out a big red envelope worth 8,888 yuan with the words celebrating the god of plague's departure. Everyone shares the joy. I silently took away the biggest portion from the group, my hands shaking with anger. Half an hour later, as soon as I walked out of the building, a call from the finance department came to my boss's cell phone. 01. I stared at the dazzling red envelope cover on the phone screen. The festive red color looked like a pool of dried blood at the moment. Celebrating the god of plague's departure. Let's share the joy. Mr. Lu's name, along with his greasy avatar, danced beneath these words. The large group of more than 300 people in the company were instantly overwhelmed by emoticons and flattery words such as, "Thank you, boss. Boss is awesome." They grabbed it so quickly, as if it was not money, but some kind of certificate that could prove that they were still a part of the circle. My fingers hung above the screen, as stiff as dead wood. 3 years of days and nights, countless late nights of working overtime until the early hours of the morning, dinner parties with butterflies in my stomach, his face of taking all the credit after the project was successful. Frame after frame flashed back quickly in my mind, and finally settled on the contemptuous look in his eyes when he approved my resignation. He said, "Sun Yan, it is a good thing for the company that you are gone. People like you, who are ungrateful, will be the same wherever you go." It turned out that this was his farewell gift to me. Public execution. Let everyone know that I, Sun Yan, was kicked out like trash by him. The feeling of humiliation was like countless ants starting from my heart and gnawing at every inch of my skin and every nerve. I can imagine the expressions of former colleagues in the group at this moment, gloating or indifferent. I was so dizzy with rage that I almost dropped my phone on the ground. But I didn't. I took a deep breath and opened the red envelope with my slightly trembling fingers. You received Mr. Lu's red envelope. The page jumped and a line of golden numbers jumped out. Best luck, 1,288 yuan. I turned out to be the lucky one. It's ironic in the extreme. Someone in the group noticed it immediately and let out a series of exclamations. Damn it, plague, did Sun Yan take it? You still have the best luck, 1,288. Such shame. Boss, this is a meat bun beating a dog, huh? Those comments hidden behind the ID are more like knives than Mr. Lu's public humiliation, precisely piercing me where it hurts the most. At this moment, a private chat window popped up. It's Mr. Lu. Sun Yan, do you really have the dignity to lead me? Take this money and get away? Bad luck. His words exuded a disgusting, greasy, and vicious tone across the screen. I didn't reply. The next second, a system prompt popped up at the top of the screen. You've been removed from the group chat, XX Company and Family by Mr. Lu. Family? I looked at these words and laughed silently, my smile full of cold sadness. The knuckles holding the phone turned blue-white from the exertion. Without any further hesitation, I found Mr. Lu's avatar, clicked on it, deleted the contact, and confirmed. The whole world was instantly pure. I stood up and took one last look at the cubicle where I had stayed for 3 years. There was still a pot of dying green radish on the table, which looked very much like me in the past 3 years. I picked up the cardboard box full of personal belongings and walked to the elevator without looking back. The moment I walked out of the building, the afternoon sun hit me so hard that I couldn't open my eyes. I stood on the side of the crowded street, feeling like a drowning man who had just emerged from the deep sea and finally breathed his first breath of fresh air. This is a new life. The price is that your dignity is shattered. At the same time, a show of flattery was going on in Mr. Lu's office. He was leaning on the expensive leather boss's chair, holding a glass of fine Longjing, and enjoying the compliments of several department heads with a glow on his face. Mr. Lu's trick is really good. Let's kill the chicken to scare the monkey. Let's see who dares to take advantage of him and the company in the future. It's just Sun Yan. Without her, the company's world will continue to spin, and maybe the efficiency will be even higher. Mr. Lu took a sip of tea and narrowed his eyes in contentment. Some people just take themselves too seriously. I gave her a job, and she really thought she was someone. Let her know that without my platform, she is nothing. Just as he was getting excited, the office door was pushed open with a bang. The financial manager, Sister Chen, had a pale face. She even forgot to knock on the door, and she still held up the mobile phone she was talking on. Mr. Lu, it's not good. Mr. Lu's enjoyment was interrupted. His face darkened, and he was about to explode. How unbecoming are you in such a panic? Sister Chen ignored his reprimand and put her phone in front of him, hands-free. An urgent voice came from inside. Mr. Lu, Mr. Lee from Party just called me personally to ask about the 2 million balance payment for the Xinghui project last quarter. The payment process was stuck at the last step. Their legal affairs said that the final confirmation signature and seal of Sun Yan, the person in charge of the project, is required to prove that all delivery contents are correct before the loan can be released. This is a strict rule of their company's risk control. The office fell silent instantly. All eyes were focused on Mr. Lu. The smile on his face was like a movie scene with the pause button pressed, solidifying, cracking, and finally collapsing. Star Project? Xunyan? He suddenly remembered my calm eyes when I submitted my resignation report before I left. There was no anger or unwillingness in those eyes, just a dead indifference. At that time, he only thought it was my dying struggle. Now, for the first time, an uneasiness he had never felt before slowly crawled up his spine. 02. My phone vibrated in my pocket. It's an unknown number. I opened the phone to answer it without saying anything. There was a sound of heavy breathing with suppressed anger on the other end of the phone, and then Mr. Lu's familiar voice, but at this moment, it was more tense. Sun Yan, you go back to the company now, immediately. He still used that commanding tone, as if I was still a subordinate who could be manipulated at will. I walked to a bench by the side of the road and sat down, putting the carton at my feet and speaking as calmly as if I were talking about the weather. Mr. Liu, I remember that I have resigned. There should be no relationship between us. The other end of the phone was silent for a second, as if he didn't expect this attitude from me. Stop talking nonsense. His voice suddenly rose, and his anger could no longer be suppressed. That 2 million yuan, it's from the Xinhui project. Is it so difficult for you to sign it when you come back? Don't forget to ask for your resignation certificate and files. He started threatening me. Use what a migrant worker cares about most. I chuckled lightly, but it was full of sarcasm. Mr. Liu, you may need to take a refresher course on the labor contract law. The resignation certificate and file transfer are the company's legal obligations. If you don't give them, we can go to the Labor Arbitration Tribunal to talk. As for signing, I paused deliberately and said clearly, word for word, it depends on my mood. After that, I hung up the phone directly. The world is purified. The feeling of firmly holding the initiative in one's own hands was like a warm current that instantly washed away the coldness of being humiliated just now. In the past 3 years, this was the first time I dared to hang up on him like this. The phone buzzed immediately and received a text message. It was sent by Mr. Liu. Su Nian, you bitch. You fucking white-eyed wolf. The company has supported you for 3 years, and this is how you repay me? Do you believe that one phone call from me will prevent you from ever getting ahead in this industry? Just wait. The unsightly curse was accompanied by 3 bright red exclamation marks, as if one could see his greasy face twisted with anger. Looking at that text message, 3 years of grievance, anger, and unwillingness flooded into my heart instantly, like a flood that burst a dam. Ungrateful? Who, after I finished working on the plan all night, took my PPT to claim credit from the client the next day? Who pushed me out as a shield when something went wrong in the project and asked me to be scolded on his behalf? Who delayed the promised bonus again and again after I won a big order for the company and finally dismissed it with a sentence, young people should focus on the future and not worry too much about gains and losses? I'm not ungrateful. I just don't want to be that fool who takes all the credit away from you and takes all the blame for you. I took a deep breath and was about to block this number as well. WeChat rang again. It's Angie. I used to think of her as a good bestie. A 60-second voice message popped up. I clicked on it, and Angel's unique, crying, delicate voice immediately filled my ears. Nian Nian, why did you leave? What should I do if you leave? Mr. Liu is furious in the office and is looking for you everywhere. Come back quickly. The Xinhui project is so important. It is the hard work of everyone working together for so long. It cannot be wasted. Her words sounded so sincere, so thoughtful of me and of everyone's hard work. But when I listened, I just felt sick in my stomach. That's her. When I felt aggrieved because Mr. Liu withheld my bonus again, she intimately gave me some advice saying, when dealing with people like Mr. Liu, you can't go head on. You have to learn to hold back and protect yourself. That's her. He kindly reminded me that the communication records with big customers like Mr. Li must be kept well. In case Mr. Liu cheats, this will be the evidence. Then, she turned around and took the chat records between Mr. Li and me about the project details and complained about Mr. Liu's laymanship. After she carefully excerpted and edited them out of context, she packaged them and sent them to Mr. Liu. In the screenshot, only my disrespect towards Mr. Liu and my excessive intimacy with my customers remain. This was the last straw that made me decide to resign this time. She wanted to use Mr. Liu's hand to get rid of me and then naturally take over the Xinhui project and take all subsequent credit. I looked at her profile picture that was still flashing on the phone screen. That flawless selfie face looked extremely hypocritical and ugly at the moment. I turned off the voice and typed 3 words coldly in the dialog box. Are you worthy? Send. Then long press and drag into the blacklist. Definitely, simply. I don't want to see any information related to this company or these people in my life. 03. I thought that by blocking them, I would be able to isolate them from all ill will. But I was still too naive. I underestimated Mr. Liu's shamelessness and overestimated the bottom line of human nature. The next afternoon, I was sorting out my resume in the rental house and preparing to start a new life when an unfamiliar landline number called. It's the area code of my hometown. My heart skipped a beat, and I had an ominous premonition. When I picked up the phone, it was my mother's anxious and reproachful voice. Nian Nian, what the hell are you doing outside? Your boss, Mr. Liu, even called home personally. My blood almost solidified at this moment. What did he say? My voice was dry. What did he say? He said that you made a big mistake at work and made a big mistake. They didn't care about you because of your young age and asked you to go back and deal with it properly. Why are you so angry? You don't answer the phone, and you can't find anyone. Are your wings stiff? You don't even dare to listen to your boss. My mother's voice was sharp, and every word was like a needle pricking my heart. This huge point of abuse made me feel like I was falling into an ice cave. He actually found my hometown and my parents. He knew that I came from a small county and that my parents were honest people who were most afraid of causing trouble, but also wanted to save face. He knows that my family is my biggest weakness. Mom, it's not what he said, it's him. What? My mother interrupted me rudely. He said it all. As long as you go back now, sign your name obediently, and forget the blame. And you're also willing to give our family another 50,000 yuan. Consider it as compensation for you. This money is just enough to pay for your brother's college tuition. Nian Nian, you are so old. Why are you so ignorant? 50,000 yuan. It turns out that what he meant by making it impossible for you to survive in this industry was not using his ridiculous connections, but in the most direct and vicious way, starting with my family. Use 50,000 yuan to bribe my parents and make them the executioners who forced me to submit. My heart became colder inch by inch until finally, all that was left was a numb tingling sensation. Mom, that money is not compensation. It is my project bonus, and it is far more than 50,000. He is squeezing me and humiliating me. Why don't you understand? What kind of bonus is there without a bonus? How would a boss as big as Mr. Liu value your little money? I think you have been living in a big city for a long time and have become wild-minded. You have learned how to take chow. You don't understand the world at all. I tell you soon, Yen, you must go back today. Otherwise, you will never recognize me as your mother again. The phone was hung up with a bang. Listening to the busy signal on my phone, I sat alone on the cold floor, hugging my knees, feeling abandoned by the whole world. The sky outside the window gradually darkened, and thousands of lights in the city lit up one by one, but none of them lit up for me. Boundless loneliness and despair overwhelmed me like a tide. I thought this was rock bottom. But in Chi, there is always a way to kick me down again. I numbly refreshed my circle of friends, and a new update popped up. It's Angie. A delicate selfie of her working overtime in the office, with the Xinhua project's whiteboard covered with sticky notes in the background. The accompanying text is, when you are in danger, you must carry on no matter how difficult it is. For the dream, for the team. I just hope that some people can have some professional ethics and not let everyone down for months of hard work. Below, a list of likes and comments from former colleagues. And she, you're awesome. Come on. Some people are so selfish and have no sense of the overall situation. And she is still responsible, unlike some people who think they are so great and the company will go bankrupt without her. With just one word, she labeled me as having no professional ethics, selfish, and absconding with money. She molded herself into a heroine who turned the tide and endured humiliation. And I became that despicable and shameless stumbling block. Looking at those familiar faces and names, I just felt a sneer. Good, really good. Don't you like watching theater? Then I'll give you some extra information. I clicked on the photo album on my phone and found the screenshot I had saved a long time ago. That's when she pulled me into a small group with only the two of us, called Workplace Survival Rules. The screenshot shows her endless chat history. Yen, let me tell you, you can't let someone like Lou Boppy think you are easy to bully. You have to learn to manage up and occasionally let him know how good you are, otherwise he will always treat you like a donkey. Next time he asks you to take the blame, just bring it up at the meeting, take away the responsibility, and see what he does. Step by step, she taught me how to smartly confront Mr. Liu. And I stupidly thought that she was really doing my best. I returned to Chi's circle of friends, and without saying a word, I clicked on the comment directly under her post. Professional ethics? You should learn how to behave first. Then, I attached a screenshot of the complete, unedited chat history. Click to send. For a moment, I seemed to be able to hear the sound of Angel's delicate mask shattering instantly on the other side of the screen. The excitement of this counterattack was like a bolt of lightning, splitting open the oppressive haze in my heart. I just want everyone to see what kind of thing this so-called heroine who takes orders in critical situations really is. 04. I have no intention of watching the war in the circle of friends again. I know that Chi has already lost with that hammer. But my own dilemma was not solved at all. My parents called me one after another, using everything from accusations to abuse to crying. I muted my phone and let it vibrate crazily on the table, like a dying heart. I curled up on the sofa and wrapped myself tightly in a blanket, as if this could block out the malice in the world. What do? Go back and sign, get the money, and then let Mr. Liu and Chi step on my bones to celebrate their victory? No, I am not willing to do so. But if I don't go back, not only will I not get the money I deserve, but I will also have to bear the incomprehension and resentment of my family. I felt like I was forced into a corner, surrounded by walls and airtight. Just when I was about to suffocate, the phone on the table lit up again. Another unfamiliar number. I grabbed my phone irritably, thinking it was another harassing call from Mr. Liu, who had changed his number. I opened the phone to answer the question, and my tone was extremely bad. Who? Hello? On the other end of the phone, a steady, rich male voice came, with a hint of surprise at being interrupted, but without any displeasure. Excuse me, is this Miss Sunyan? I am Mr. Lee from the Xinhua project. Mr. Lee? My mind went blank for a moment. That big client that I've been communicating with through emails and phone calls, who is fast-paced and resolute, and who values professional abilities very much, and whom I have only met a few times in video conferences. Mr. Lee? My body subconsciously sat upright on the sofa, and all the caution and impatience in my voice instantly disappeared without a trace, becoming respectful. Hello, Mr. Lee, I am Sunyan. Mr. Lee said, and then got straight to the point without any nonsense. Sunyan, I heard today that Mr. Liu of yours said that you resigned and there was something wrong with the project handover? His tone was calm, as if he was stating a fact. He talks confusingly, and his words don't match his words. I don't believe him. This sentence, I don't believe him, was like a bright light that suddenly shined into my airtight, dark world. All my grievances, anger, and helplessness found an outlet to vent at this moment. I clutched the phone tightly, tried to keep my voice steady, and stated the whole story in the most objective and concise language. From Mr. Liu withholding bonuses, to Chi stabbing her in the back, to Mr. Liu sending red envelopes to publicly humiliate her. I didn't add any personal expression of emotion, I was just stating the facts. Because I know that for people like Mr. Lee, facts and abilities are far more important than emotions. On the other end of the phone, Mr. Lee listened quietly and did not interrupt me. When I finished, he was silent for a moment. Those few seconds of silence seemed as long as a century to me. Then he spoke, his voice laced with appreciation. I see. Sunyan, you've been following this project from beginning to end. I see your plan, your execution, and your professionalism. To be honest, when our company decided to invest in this project, it was not your company, Mr. Liu, that invested. It was your plan and you. My heart began to beat uncontrollably because of his words. This is not just recognition, it is the highest praise. Then he dropped a real bombshell that changed everything. This 2 million project is just a test. Just last week, our company's board of directors has approved the second phase of the Xinhui Project Cooperation Plan. The budget for the entire second phase is 10 million. 10 million. I was completely stunned and even forgot to breathe. But Mr. Li's voice came again. Every word was like reassurance. There is a very important additional clause in our contract. The general person in charge of the second phase of the project must be you, Sun Yan. It was as if fireworks were exploding in my mind. What I'm holding in my hand is the right to sign the final payment of 2 million. What I hold in my hand is the lifeblood of Lu Corporation for the next year, a huge cooperation worth tens of millions. The person he drove away like a god of plague and humiliated me with an 8,888 yuan red envelope turned out to be the only and irreplaceable key to this multi-million-dollar project. What an irony. I was so excited that I couldn't speak. I could only hold the phone tightly and feel the warmth in my palm. Mr. Li finally said, Sun Yan, you are a talented person and should not be buried by such a small boss. If you have any plans or how you need my cooperation, you can tell me directly. I only recognize you for this project. After hanging up the phone, I looked out the window at the dark night sky. For the first time, I felt that those twinkling stars were so close to me. At the bottom of despair, there is a bright future. No, this is not a shadow of a doubt. This is the qualification I earned for myself with 3 years of professionalism and sweat. 0.5. I didn't call Mr. Li back immediately. I need to calm down. I rushed into the bathroom and slapped my face with cold water over and over again until the blood that was hot with ecstasy slowly calmed down. I looked at the pale, haggard face in the mirror, but with renewed fire in its eyes. Sun Yan, you can't panic. From now on, you decide the rules of the game. I spent 10 minutes clearly constructing my counterattack plan in my mind, every step, every detail. Then I wiped my face, picked up my phone, and called Mr. Li back. Mr. Li, thank you very much for your trust. My voice has returned to its usual calm and professional tone. I'm more than happy to stay in charge of future projects, but I need a little help. Speaking. I need your company's legal department to formally send a letter to Mr. Lu's company to clarify 2 points. First, since Sun Yan, the core person in charge of the Xinhui project, has resigned, in order to ensure the smooth handover of the project and the continuity of subsequent cooperation, your company has designated Ms. Sun Yan as the only authorized consultant for this project, responsible for all closing and handover work. Second, during this period, all communications about this project must and can only be through me. Any communication that bypasses me will be deemed invalid, and your company reserves the right to pursue legal liability. The 2 points I made are watertight. It not only established my irreplaceable legal status, but also completely blocked all possibilities for Mr. Lu to bypass me and have private contact with other people in the Li Corporation. Mr. Li immediately understood my intention and praised. No problem. Very professional way of handling it. I will let the legal department handle it immediately. After hanging up the phone, I sat on the sofa and waited quietly. I didn't have to wait long. Within half an hour, my phone rang. It's the same number that I blocked and released again. Mr. Lu. I opened the phone to answer it, and this time, I didn't even bother to speak. There was an awkward silence on the other end of the phone, and then Mr. Lu's unprecedented, so kind and annoying voice. Hello, Nian Nian. Well, you see, this is all a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. He even started calling me Nian Nian. I almost laughed out loud. You have something to say. I interrupted him coldly. Hey, okay. He responded quickly, his tone as humble as a waiter. Nian Nian, if you have any requests, just ask. As long as you are willing to come back and sign, we can discuss everything. I leaned on the back of the sofa and spoke slowly. My request is very simple. First, I said clearly, you, Mr. Lu, use the same company group that you used to send out celebratory red envelopes, and use the same method to send out another red envelope of 8,888 yuan. The accompanying text must be, I would like to extend my most sincere apology to Ms. Sun Yan for my previous stupid behavior. She is not the god of plague, but a hero of the company. On the other end of the phone, there was a sound of rapid and heavy breathing, like an enraged bull. I know that this request is more uncomfortable than killing him. This is equivalent to asking him to swallow back what he said word by word in front of more than 300 people in the company, and then slap himself hard in the face. I ignored his reaction and continued with my second condition. Second, in the past 3 years since I joined the company, all the project bonuses that you withheld and owed for various reasons totaled 287,300 yuan. Every penny will be paid to my card immediately. The figures I quoted are accurate to the dollar, because I remember every transaction clearly in a small notebook. That's my hard-earned money. Why don't you go and grab it? Mr. Lu finally couldn't help roaring. Robbing. I sneered. Mr. Lu, I have here the project contract, profit statement, and the email you signed and promised for each bonus. Do you want me to send it to you so you can recall it? The phone went silent for an instant. I paused for a moment, then threw out the last and most unexpected condition. Third, I said every word clearly, fire and she. What? He obviously didn't react. She stirred up trouble during the project, leaked customer communication records, and maliciously provoked relationships with colleagues. She almost caused major economic and reputational losses to the company. I don't feel comfortable participating in any work with a person who has no professional ethics or character at all. My reasons are high-sounding and impeccable. Mr. Lu was on the other end of the phone, almost furious. I could hear his teeth clenching. He was silent for a long time, so long that I thought he would hang up. Finally, he almost squeezed out the words one by one through his teeth. I know he agreed. What he was afraid of was not the 2 million final payment at all. What he fears is Mr. Lee and the 10 million yuan of cooperation behind him. In the face of absolute interests, his pitiful dignity is worthless. The offensive and defensive momentum is different. Now, it's my turn. 06. Mr. Liu moved quickly. In less than 10 minutes, I receive an invitation to join the group on WeChat. Inviter, Mr. Liu. Group name, a family from XX company. I clicked agree. Almost the same second I entered the group, a familiar red envelope popped up and took up the entire screen. Amount, 8,888 yuan. Under the red envelope, there was a line of text that instantly plunged the entire group into deathly silence. I would like to extend my most sincere apology to Miss Sun Yan for my previous stupid behavior. She is not the god of plague, but a hero of the company. The entire large group, numbering more than 300 people, was silent. No one dared to speak, and no one dared to touch the red envelope. I can imagine the stunned and shocked expressions on the faces of my former colleagues across the screen. The boss, who was still celebrating Get Out of Here the day before, today humbly apologized publicly. This scene is more exciting than any TV series. I slowly stretched out my finger and clicked on the red envelope under everyone's gaze. Best luck, 988.66 yuan. Still the best luck. I took a screenshot and posted a message in the group without any haste. Mr. Liu, you're welcome. It would have been better if it had been this way earlier. Extreme sarcasm, calm tone. There was still silence in the group, as if you could hear a pin drop. Mr. Liu's profile picture flashed, as if he wanted to say something, but in the end no message was sent. He didn't dare. Then I started my second show. I clicked on the photo album and clearly sent the screenshots of the chat records about how Wen-Chi taught me how to be a human being that I had carefully saved to the large group one by one. I also attached the complete version of the screenshots she sent out of context to Mr. Liu. In the version she edited, it was me complaining about the company and communicating privately with customers. In the full version I released, you can clearly see that it was Mr. Lee who was actively asking about the progress of the project, and all my answers were professional and appropriate, and every keynote clearly stated, I will report to Mr. Liu. Error 500, server error. 1500, that's an error. There was an error. Please try again later, that's all we know. Finally, I had all the members and at Angel alone. Thank you, Miss Wen-Chi, for your careful tips along the way, which has taught me a lot of workplace survival rules. I wish you can advance in the workplace like you taught me. My words were like a depth bomb that exploded in the silent crowd. Holy crap. It turns out it's Wen-Chi who's behind this. This is too green tea. I really thought there was something wrong with Sun Yan before. Oh my god, I know people well, but don't know their hearts. And she usually looks like such a simple and kind person. What's so innocent? I think he's very scheming. Taking credit for other people's work and stepping on them in return is so vicious. Colleagues who were cheering for Wen-Chi in the circle of friends a second ago suddenly turned their guns and began to criticize her verbally. When a wall falls, people push it down. That's human nature. And Wen-Chi's profile picture flashed crazily in the group, and she at me desperately, explaining incoherently. No, it's not like that. Nian, listen to my explanation. The screenshot is from P. Don't believe it. Sun Yan, why are you trying to harm me? I regard you as my best friend. Her defense seemed so pale and ridiculous in the face of the ironclad evidence. I didn't reply to her another word. Ignoring this kind of person is the greatest contempt. Within 10 minutes, when the group was in a commotion, the HR director was in the group and issued a cold official notice. At all members' notice, after research and decision by the company, the labor contract with employee Wen-Chi will be terminated with immediate effect. Angel, please complete all resignation procedures before leaving Get Off work today. A fatal blow. The world is finally completely clean. Almost at the same time as HR issued the notification, a push notification popped up on my mobile banking app. Your savings card account ending with XXXX has a credit of 287,300 renminbi. I looked at the string of numbers, and at this moment, 3 years of blood, sweat, and 3 years of grievance seemed to have settled. But there was no fluctuation in my heart. Because this book belongs to me. I just took back everything that was supposed to be mine. And this is just the beginning. 07. The next day, I returned to the company. It's not about going back to get reinstated. It's about going back to sign and get what's left of me. When I walked into that familiar office holding that familiar cardboard box, everyone's eyes were focused on me like a searchlight. Those eyes are very complicated. There is awe, jealousy, embarrassment, and unconcealed curiosity. Those who used to ignore me or even add insult to injury now put on flattering smiles and greeted me from a distance. Nian, you're back. Sister Nian, congratulations. I ignored them and walked straight to my original workstation. My table has been cleared away, and Angel's things have disappeared, as if she had never appeared. Mr. Liu ran out of his office like a follower, holding a stack of documents in his hands and a chrysanthemum smile on his face. Nian, you're finally here. Come on, sit here. He even personally pulled out a chair in the conference room for me. I've prepared all the documents. Take a look and sign if there's no problem. After signing, all the bad things we had in the past will be written off, and we'll forget about it. He rubbed his hands and looked at me eagerly, as if looking at the god of wealth. Look, do you want to consider coming back? I'll give you a promotion. Become a project director. I'll give you a 50% salary increase. No, 100%. He began to draw cakes. It's still the same familiar recipe, and it's still the same familiar taste. It's a pity that I am no longer the little girl who would be coaxed into running around by his empty words 3 years ago. Without looking at him, I picked up the documents on the table and read them carefully, page by page. Every clause, every number, every signature, and seal. After confirming that it was correct, I took out my personal seal from my bag, stamped it, and then signed my name in the column of the person in charge. Mr. Liu, all procedures for the 2 million yuan project have been handed over. I put the pen on the table with a snap, and the sound was particularly clear in the quiet conference room. Mr. Liu breathed a long sigh of relief, relaxed his whole body, and smiled wider on his greasy face. He rubbed his hands and asked impatiently, then, what Mr. Li said about the follow-up cooperation. I raised my eyes, looked at him for the first time, and then slowly interrupted him. Follow-up. I shook my head gently. There is no follow-up. I took out another document from my bag and gently pushed it in front of him. It was a letter of intent. Party A is Mr. Li's company. Party B, it's me, Sun Yan. It clearly states in black and white that I, Sun Yan, have been hired as the general consultant for the second phase of the Xinhui project and will be fully responsible for all subsequent project matters worth 10 million. What Mr. Li means is that the subsequent 10 million projects will be independently handled by the studio established by me. I looked at him and pronounced his death sentence clearly and cruelly, word for word. It has nothing to do with your company anymore. The smile on Mr. Liu's face froze instantly. The blood color faded from his face bit by bit, quickly enough to be visible to the naked eye. His lips were trembling, and he wanted to say something, but no words came out. His greedy eyes were fixed on the letter of intent, as if he wanted to see through it. In the end, it was as if all the strength in his body had been taken away from him, his legs softened, and with a pop, he collapsed on the chair behind him. The only sound left in the entire conference room was his heavy and desperate breathing. I stood up, picked up my seal and bag, and took one last look at the man who had been defeated by my own hands. I have no sympathy. When an avalanche occurs, no snowflake is innocent. His fate today was all his own fault. Holding my carton in my arms, under the shocked, stunned, and disbelieving gazes of dozens of people in the office, I held my head high and walked out of the company where I thought I would work for the rest of my life, without looking back. This time, it's a real new life. 08. Mr. Li's advance payment was quickly credited to my new account. I used the money to rent a small but exquisite office in a nice office building in the city center, and then quickly registered my personal studio. Everything is difficult at the beginning, but when you have a project and funds, everything becomes logical. But I still need people. For a project, especially a large project worth tens of millions, it is not enough for me alone. I need a team. A team that I trust, are capable, and have a tacit understanding. Two figures immediately appeared in my mind. Xiao Zhang and Xiao Wang. They are the two core technical backbones of the previous Xinhui project team. They have very strong professional abilities and are also practical in their work. More importantly, they, like me, have been squeezed and suppressed by Mr. Liu for a long time. I remember one time, Xiao Zhang stayed up for 3 nights in a row in the company in order to catch up on a technical node. Finally, he was so exhausted that he fainted at his workstation due to hypoglycemia. When Mr. Liu found out, not only did he not show any concern, but he scolded him for affecting the company's image and deducted his perfect attendance award for that month. As for Xiao Wang, he led the development of a core algorithm that won a big order for the company. In the end, Mr. Liu only gave him 1/10 of the project bonus he promised, on the grounds that young people must know how to contribute. I know that for such people, what they lack is not ability, but an opportunity, a platform that allows them to display their talents and get the respect they deserve. I didn't hesitate and sent WeChat messages to both of them respectively. The content is very simple. I opened a studio and took over the second phase of Mr. Li's Xinhui project. Are you coming? The salary will be doubled according to your current standards. At the end of the year, I will give you dividends based on the project profits. I didn't draw any big cakes and gave only the most practical things. Their replies were almost instantaneous. Xiao Zhang, Sister Nian, this is what I've been waiting for. I will resign tomorrow. Xiao Wang, Sister Nian, count me in. I don't want to stay in that crappy place for a long time. Within a week, a total of 5 people, including Xiao Zhang and Xiao Wang, the core technical backbone of the project department of Liu Corporation, submitted their resignation letters. I heard that Mr. Liu was completely panicked. He talked to them one by one, promising high salaries and positions, and even played the emotional card with tears in his eyes. But it's too late. Everyone has thoroughly seen through his character and seen a better choice. No one looked back. His company, due to the collective loss of core technical personnel, was instantly drained from the bottom of the cauldron and became an empty shell. New projects were unable to be accepted. Maintenance problems on old projects began to occur frequently, and customers complained constantly, falling into a vicious cycle. In my studio, because the team members already have a long-term understanding of cooperation, there is almost no need for any break-in. We quickly got on track, and the project progressed extremely smoothly, even ahead of schedule. The salary and benefits I offer my team are among the best in the industry. I only want one thing from them: to work with peace of mind and bring out their best professional abilities, and leave the rest to me. The atmosphere in the studio is completely different from the company I worked for before. There is no intrigue or flattery here, just discussion of technology and enthusiasm for the project. I bought a fully paid 3-bedroom apartment for my parents in my hometown in the provincial capital, and then put a sum of money into their cards that would be enough for them to enjoy their retirement years. I only sent them a message: I earn this money based on my ability. From now on, I don't have to look at anyone else's face. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. I know that they may not fully understand what happened, but they know that their daughter is different. On this day, I received a call from Mr. Liu. His voice no longer contained threats or pretentious kindness, only a desperate plea remained. Nian Nian, Mr. Su, I beg you, please let me go. Can you please return Xiao Zhang and the others to me? The company cannot live without them. I will give you money. I will give you shares. I listened to his incoherent pleas quietly, without any disturbance in my heart. Mr. Liu, when people go to higher places, water flows to lower places. You can't keep people. Who's to blame? After saying that, I hung up the phone and blocked him. Some people are not worth wasting a second of your time. 09. Time is the best filter. It will screen out those unimportant people and things, and it will also allow the evildoers to get the retribution they deserve. I gradually heard some news about Angel from the industry. She interviewed with several companies, but was rejected during the background check process. Her social death, performance, and a crowd of more than 300 people had already spread throughout the entire circle through various gossips. No one dares to hire an employee who stabs someone in the back, stirs up trouble, or has serious character problems. She was completely blacklisted by this industry. I thought I would never see her again. Until that afternoon, when I was coming out of the downstairs of the company after a meeting, a haggard and desolate figure suddenly rushed out and blocked my way. It's Angie. She has lost a lot of weight, her eye sockets are sunken, and she is no longer as delicate and bright as before. She was wearing a bald sweater, her hair was messy, and her eyes were bloodshot and desperate. Nyen Nyen, she grabbed my arm, her nails almost digging into my flesh. Nyen Nyen, I was wrong, I was really wrong. Can you help me? She cried, her face covered with tears and snot. Can you explain to the HR of those companies that it's all a misunderstanding, okay? I can't be without a job. I really can't be without a job. I still have to pay off my mortgage and my parents still need me to send money. She started to suffer. It's still what she's best at. I looked at her quietly, looking at the face that once made me treat her sincerely, but in the end gave me the most fatal blow. In my heart, there is no anger or even hatred. There is only a cold desolation. I used my strength to break open her fingers that were holding on to me one by one. And I looked into her eyes and said in a cold voice, when you took the chat records between me and Mr. Lee out of context and sent them to him in front of Mr. Liu and wanted to use his hand to destroy me, did you ever think that I couldn't live without a job? Have you ever thought about what will happen to my mortgage and what will happen to my parents if I am really banned from this industry? She was stunned by my words and opened her mouth, unable to say a word. You ruined your own reputation. I glanced at her one last time and said slowly, it's not me, it's your own character. After saying that, I stopped looking at her, walked around her, and walked straight to the door of the office building. The security guard of the building came over and politely but firmly stopped her, who was still trying to catch up. From behind, her unwilling and hysterical curses could be heard. Sun Yen, you bitch. You don't deserve to die. I didn't look back. My life has opened a new chapter, and she is not even worthy of being a punctuation mark in my story. Some mistakes, once made, last a lifetime. You have to pay for what you have done. 10. Half a year later, my studio became famous in the industry for its excellent completion of the first phase of the second phase of Xinghui. More projects and better talents are coming to us. The size of the studio has also expanded from the initial few people to more than 20 people. Mr. Liu's company has completely come to an end. From the corner of the industry news, I saw the news that his company's capital chain was broken and multiple suppliers came to collect debts. I thought that my story with him had come to an end. Until that night, when I worked overtime late and came out of the downstairs of the company, I saw a familiar yet extremely unfamiliar figure. It's Mr. Liu. He was squatting by the flower bed in front of the company, holding a low-quality cigarette in his hand. Amidst the